everybody, I'm going to do cauliflower rice. This is for tomorrow's menu if you're following the 5-day meal plan. If you're not, you can try it tonight or whenever you would like to try it. So it calls for, this is my first time making cauliflower rice. I have been completely 100% intimidated by it. So I did a test run and it came out successfully, or so I believe. And now I'm ready to share with you what it calls for. Whenever I follow ingredients or a recipe, I kind of pick and choose ingredients based off of what I know that my family is going to enjoy. And so cumin and chili powder is not something I know my family would not enjoy. So I'm choosing to leave those out. I personally choose not to use canned items if I can help it. I have yet to master spaghetti sauce fully, so my husband does like that I buy jarred spaghetti sauce, so I'm just kind of careful with what I purchase there. But like with canned beans or canned diced tomatoes or crushed tomatoes, that's something I personally choose just to cut up my tomatoes or make my beans. So I do have my beans going in the pressure cooker right now, and then I cut up fresh tomatoes instead of buying canned tomatoes. So those are some alterings that I am choosing to do. So let me go ahead and just dive into it. Also, instead of oil, I'm going to just use water, or the recipe for the guacamole calls for lemon juice. So I'm just going to use fresh lemon juice instead of using bottled or pre-made lemon juice. So for cauliflower, what you do is you're going to obviously rinse it, wash it off, and which I already did beforehand. You're going to pull everything apart here. Push that back. Quite tough, huh? My family, they're not fans of cauliflower, but I have been able to find that I can hide it in spaghetti sauce. I guess maybe it's just the texture. They eat broccoli just fine, so I don't know. But I continue trying because that's half the battle, is being willing to try things even when you find your family does not like it. So then what it says is to cut this into fourths so that you can break apart the cauliflower. I think they're called florets. Yep, smaller florets. So I'm cutting this into fourths, is what it is called, what it says. I'm often asked what is the brand of the knives that I use. Long term, I would love to invest in Cutco, but I actually have had these almost 10 years now. I got them Christmas of the year my son was born, and my son was born December 23rd, 2007. So I'm about to have 10 years with these knives and they are still working. So I'm going to hold on to these until I can get my Cutco knives. So this little stalk part I'm going to cut out. I guess I can do it to where you can see what I'm doing. I'll try my best here. Okay. And then I have my trash can very close to me because this is quite a messy prep here. Okay, so I have made it to be just like the florets as best as, or florets, yes, florets, my goodness. All right, so these are all they're ready. So let me put this into the trash. It says to use a food processor or a blender. I have a Vitamix. My test run, I found that if these are cut up, in smaller pieces, it's easier for it to break down. So I'm just kind of cutting these a little smaller. So they're ready to go, making sure you can still see me. Okay, and then I did a whole cauliflower head. I'm going to go with half of it because I found that some of it was left unblended. So here we go. I also have, just so you know, I have my pan on already. so it can be ready to fire up. That's kind of the secret to my cooking without like oil and stuff. One of the secrets is having my pan at the temperature that I want it to be at before, sorry, I was drying my hands, before I am going to use it. So I have it on medium right now. Sorry, I just spotted a little hair. Let me make sure I have that off. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna seal this all the way. And this, I have it on low, and I'm gonna just power this on. And it says not to like let it over blend. And I do have a wand for this, but I found that just shaking it, because the wand would essentially push everything down, and I want it all to come up. So it looks like it's blending evenly, and then once it kind of starts getting stuck, I just kind of give it a good shake. Okay, I'm sure you might have a different secret, but this is what's working for me. All right, share your secret if you have one though. Okay, so it comes out like rice, essentially. It doesn't smell like rice, but it does look somewhat like rice. And I'm told that those who have eaten it, they cannot tell it is not rice. So what do I have to lose, right? Okay, so I poured that into my bowl that I already had tried around on, and I'm gonna do the second batch here. I love these plastic cutting boards. Okay. Oh, that's getting stuck. Here we go. One more time. Shake, shake, shake. There's some getting stuck in those corners there. Shake, shake, shake. There we go. All right, I think one more round. There we go. There, come on, guys. All right, what I'll do is get that last little stickler there at the end. It's a big chunk. See, it's better to cut it a little smaller. I do have a little mixing guy here to help encourage the sides to come off. And then I'm going to try popping this one in here. The last little booger. And now it's breaking up just fine. Sweet. Okay. So, just using my spatula here to break things up. And this is overflowing, so I'm just going to leave these here. And I'm going to rinse this off because I wanted to show you how I cut my tomato, and in case I need to save a half of my bell pepper, I wanted to show you how I do that as well. Okay, so this was a whole bell pepper, and what I chose to do was, let's just say that I only wanted to use half of the bell pepper. I cut it in half, but this is what's called the heart of the bell pepper. So I left, I already cut the bell pepper. Okay, so I left the other half here, and I cut around, and then that way it left the heart here. And if I were gonna save this half, what I would do is get a paper towel and tuck it right into here, okay? And then slide it into a Ziploc or, you know, a sealed bag. And then that way when you go to use your bell pepper, you know, in a day or two, it's not mushy inside. This helps so it won't be mushy. because it does release water, and so that's why it becomes mushy. But if you have the paper towel, it's going to be released into here. I learned this because I was helping take care of a lady who was doing like an all organic lifestyle. She had cancer, and it helped because, you know, with organic, it's pricey and everything adds up. So I just want to share that with you. I want to cut up or dice a tomato. So let me put this stuff here. Okay, and so here's this, and I'm going to move this over here. Okay, so the way I dice my tomato or onion, bell pepper, those are kind of the things I'm thinking of right now, is I put my hand, you know, slice it in half lengthwise, and then slice it lengthwise as small as I possibly can, and then hold on to it, move it sideways, and then do the same thing. And I just find that the cut is very pretty and leaves it with that diced consistency. So I did that with my bell pepper. I chose, the recipe does not call for, but I chose to add cabbage in my recipe. So I have washed and cut up cabbage, bell pepper, and tomato. And I have my onion diced up, and then I have my garlic here ready to mince into, and actually what I'll do is I will mince it right into here so I can mix it up and put it right into the pan. A little secret I found was if you want for your meal to taste like or have a very strong flavor of a certain item, then you want to add that item at the beginning, or I'm sorry, at the end. If you want to have that item in your meal but you don't want it to be as strong, you add it at the beginning. So for instance, onion and garlic, not everybody likes it. It's kind of, you know, a lot of times one side or the other. My boys don't even know that they're eating garlic or that they're eating onion half the time because I always put it at the front end. So if you want it to be heavily strong, you could also add some at the end, or you could just wait to add your onion or your garlic. What I also use instead of oil is the juices of my onion and my garlic. So I'm going to actually add those first. I have my lemon wedges also ready and cut if I'm going to add some more, like if for whatever reason it's starting to burn. So we're going to move over to this side where my pan is here. And I did test this before I got on with you guys. Okay, to make sure you could see my pan and make sure you could see my pressure cooker, it has 3 minutes left. I used to use a crock pot to make my beans, and it would take me, I'd have to soak them overnight or throughout the day and then cook them overnight or throughout the day. So about 8 to 10 hours on low or 4 hours on high in a crock pot or slow cooker. My pressure cooker, I'm able to make them. I do like to soak my beans, but let's just say that I forget that I need to cook some and I need to cook them quickly. I can just cook them straight from dry beans. I put it on 30 minutes and they're cooking right now. So they're gonna be between the pressure increasing, it pressurizing and then releasing pressure. It's probably gonna take about 45 minutes for me to cook dry beans entirely. So I'm gonna grab my stuff really quick. It's like I need a co-host, huh? Just put this right here. Here's my cauliflower, and I'm gonna just get the rest of it here. Okay. And I need a stirring spoon. I'm gonna have a quick, I don't want it to be too, I want it to kind of be more of like just a stick versus an actual spoon. So we're gonna get started. Okay, so first things first is I'm gonna add in, this is diced onion and minced garlic. Okay, so just spread that through a little bit. Oh man, I wish that the smell could go through to you, because it comes out pretty nicely. Okay, and here's the cauliflower. I use this for a 14-day detox, this recipe. and I was told it was one of their favorites. So, okay, there's the rest of that. Move that out of my way so I don't end up dropping anything. Okay. If you wanted to, you could use like avocado oil or coconut oil. The biggest thing is you want to make sure that your oil is not compromised when you heat it, because not all oils are made to still be healthy for you once you've cooked it. And you don't want your oils to count against you. You want them to be of benefit to you. Okay. So I don't know if you heard that beep, but that's my pressure cooker. I'm going to do pressure release, and these are my beans. We'll see how they are doing. I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope that you find this to be a benefit for you. So as you can see, I'm gonna leave it kind of cooking, but you know, at first I want to evenly mix in the onion and the garlic, and then anything that's coming from the bottom, it's kind of having a cooked, you know, a browned consistency, and that's what I want. I don't want to overcook and cause for things to be mushy. That's why I don't put water in right away. I like a roasted consistency, and so does my family. I'm not sure what your family goes for. So adding in the cabbage and the bell peppers and the tomato would be too soon. So just for sake of time, I'm gonna increase the heat a little bit more to like a medium high. But you can see it does look like rice. I mean, I think my kids would be able to figure it out, but again, I just encourage for you to just really, you know, talk to your kids a lot about why we eat good food, and that, you know, mommy, daddy, we are having you eat good food because we love you too much to continue to give you, you know, other foods always, that being your primary source. I'm not saying not to enjoy them, just not be your primary source. And if you can learn to make the food that your family has once enjoyed in such a way that everybody can enjoy it, everybody wins. All right, so I turned that up just a tad. While that kind of browns, I'm gonna open this up and show it to you. Let me open it up first. So I did 2 cups of beans because what I do is when I make them, I make more than I need, and I freeze them. That way I can grab them for the next round. So it looks like it's going to need a little bit more time. They're not fully softened, but let me just show you. I think it's going to be too steamy, but I can try showing you what it looks like inside. So this is 30 minutes of cooking on high, whoops, with your pressure cooker. And I put 2 cups of beans and 4 cups of water. I'm going to add another 2 cups because there's no more water in here. So let me do that. And then I'm going to put it on for another 10 minutes. Let's see. I'm just grabbing water here. See how this looks. Just a tad more water. Okay, so I'm going to have this go for another 10 minutes, and that will probably do the trick. I'm going back. When in doubt, if you're thinking, maybe I should do 5, then go for 5 and do 5 and 5. But I'm pretty confident 10 minutes will be good, just from my experience. So I'm going to go for 10 minutes here on high pressure with my pressure cooker. Or Instant Pot, it would be manual 10 minutes. So I guess if they're unsoaked dry beans, then you want to go for 40 minutes. And then if they're soaked beans, then you would go for 30 minutes. All right, so here's my cauliflower rice. Now, so I've added rice, I have onion, and I have garlic, okay? And now I'm going to add the diced tomato, cabbage, and bell pepper that I had. And I have 2 heads of cauliflower in here because I have my sister, I have family coming over. So that's why I did more. I probably shouldn't have done that because it's quite a bit. But this is the cauliflower rice. And we're going to be eating this with guacamole or avocado, depending on what I decide to make. And then it does call to add oregano, but I just want to encourage you, this is my first time making this. It smells delicious, and I am hopeful that it's going to be delicious. Once I get this all cooked up, I'm going to add the beans because the recipe calls for beans. And then it does say a teaspoon of oregano, dried oregano. So I'm going to just add that in real quick just so you can see what that looks like. And I'm going to put probably a splash of lemon juice in it. So let me get the oregano. Okay, so it's like open somewhere. So let's see, I'm just going to go like this. So I get like the dried oregano. I don't know if you make pozole, but I use that for my pozole. So I'm going to just grab it in here in my hands and, you know, smash it in my hands. So just a little bit of flavor. You can add salt and pepper, kind of the same thing. If you don't want to add as much salt, I find that adding salt at the end instead of the beginning helps for you to lessen the amount of salt that you're putting in. The same with pepper. Well, for me, if I wanted to add pepper, I would add it at the front because my 5-year-old is very sensitive and says, it's spicy. And I'm like, it's pepper. It's not spicy, and you're Mexican. Get over it. But just to not have an argument at dinner time, I find that's kind of one of the hardest times. The other thing that I find to be very, very helpful is making sure that you communicate with your spouse or significant other, and making sure that you guys are on the same page as far as how you eat and what you're going to be having for dinner. I found that having this, I'm going to flip this, I don't know how to flip the screen. I find that having, sorry, I was getting a call, I forgot to put do not disturb. I haven't updated this week because I'm going to actually put a new calendar for September and just put this last week in here. But I put what the meal plans are here, and that way everybody's on the same page, and this is what I printed as. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I hope that you find this to be of help. And please, please, please share how you're doing, if you're enjoying your time here with me. You know, I want to be as committed to you as you are to me. So feedback is always great. And, you know, any questions or comments, I took some time yesterday and tried to answer everything. Thank you.